Hockey is back. Today may only be a preseason tilt with the Wild, but hockey is back. The hits, the saves, the goals. Let the excitement start building right now, because hockey is back.
Can you hear that? It's the sweet sound of hockey, and it's back here in Denver. After a long summer, the Colorado Avalanche are back and ready to take the ice in front of Avs faithful. Today, you'll see some familiar faces, along with plenty of new ones, as we kick off preseason game number 1 against the Minnesota Wild. Hey everyone, I'm Katie Gauze, and welcome back inside Ball Arena, home of Colorado Avalanche hockey here on Altitude. Hockey is finally back, and after a long summer, the Avs are ready to get back to work. Today, you'll see some of the exciting new Avalanche additions that they made in the offseason, but you'll also see plenty of new faces, some young prospects and depth players who are looking for their chance to impress the Avalanche brass. Head coach Jared Bednar said he wants these young guys to play to their strengths and show off the individual skills they bring. For more on the preseason, we send you upstairs for the first time, Mark Mosier and Mark Rycroft. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back to you too, Katie. Great to be back, Riker. And when you look at the preseason, it's an opportunity for the team to put things together, that's for sure. But also an opportunity for new guys and guys on the bubble to try to make an impression.
Yeah, for the veterans, you got to get in the rhythm. For the young guys, you have to be noticed. If you fight, drop the gloves. If you score, get shots on net. But you got to be remembered for a young guy in this game here tonight.
The Avalanche top line this afternoon, all new players in a Colorado Avalanche sweater.
Folks, you are looking at what could be the best third line in the National Hockey League. Chris McFarland was busy over the offseason, had to sign Miles Wood, Ross Colton, Thomas Tatar. They've all come together, and they're going to be playing here tonight. Hopefully they can gel, Moj.
What I like about Miles Wood, Riker, big, fast, and plays a bit mean.
Oh boy, 6'2", 210 pounds, and every defenseman on the opposing team does not want to play this guy. Only had 19 tickles one year, 17 another season. He can finish, he's big, he's strong, and he's here to win.
Big expectations for number 44. Also, you look in the middle, here comes Ross Riker. He's got a winning pedigree.
Yes, he sure does. Won a Stanley Cup with Tampa Bay in 2021. He's coming in to fill that third line center role. He can score goals, 22 on the season, but he's competitive as they come. He's a gamer, and he's also looking to help the Avalanche get their second Stanley Cup here in the modern era.
He will wear number 20 like another guy that we know. And Thomas Tatar, late in the offseason, signs with the Avs. He said, I want to go there and win.
Yeah, you know, he's looking for a long-term deal in the offseason, fresh off another 20-goal season. He's at 6 in his career, but he picked the Avs because he wants to win, he wants to score, he wants a big-time deal, and he's coming here also to help the Avs win another cup.
Another interesting face that we will see today is a guy that Avalanche fans had their hearts broken by 3 years ago. Yoel Kiviranta is in the lineup. And Riker, we go back to the bubble in Game 7 against Dallas. Oh, this one hurt.
Oh, we talked about this before. Should we talk about it with Avs fans? Well, yes, we will. He has 6 career playoff goals, and 3 came in this game, Game 7, put the Avs out of the playoffs, but he's here on a PTO. May play for the Avs, maybe another team. Either way, he's going to be wearing the Avs colors, and it's kind of weird, Moj. I don't know.
We'll see what he does today. He'll get a real opportunity to make this squad, and so will other players that you will see on the ice. So stick with us. It is preseason game number 1. The division rival Minnesota Wild are in town. Hockey is most definitely back, and the puck will drop next. Guys, I'm Mark Mosier. Riker, here are the 2 guys who will be going at least to start today.
Yeah, start with Jesper Wallstedt. He was a 20th overall pick 1 year in the American Hockey League, so he's a big deal for the Wild. But Justus Annunen, Coach Bednar basically said he's going to be the backup goaltender to start the season, but not for sure, but pretty sure. So there's a little bit of pressure on Justus. Played 2 games last season, big goaltender at 6'5". So we're hoping Justus can fill the net while we wait for Pavel Francouz's injury to figure itself out and he gets healthy again.
As you talked about, Wallstedt, I get 20th overall pick in 2020, and they really have high expectations of him in Minnesota. As we look at head coach Jared Bednar, not only an opportunity to see the top line, which will be the Avs' third line when the regular season rolls around, but players who are trying to make an impact.
Boy, there's so much that goes on in exhibition. For the young guys, it's 110%. You got to make an impact. For the veterans, find your rhythm. So sometimes exhibition, it's a wild card kind of game.
Tatar will slide it into Wood, down low, quick shot. There it is, saved by Wallstedt. Sent back up top, long drive, and a kick save there by Wallstedt. The Avs saw the young defenseman let that one fly. Malinsky. We'll talk more about him as the game continues on, because he's got high expectation. Was an absolutely fantastic standout at Cornell.
Yeah, and you see Miles Wood, his first shift. That line should dominate this game, by the way. Absolutely flatten a wild player. That's his game. Look for him to deliver 5 or 6 big checks a game.
That puck was sent in by the veteran Merrill. Lettieri with a quick shot, save on it in right at the post. All the way up to the point it goes. Spun back down by Walker, who would go to the far side. Big hit on the far side, too, as the Avs trying to get that puck up the boards. Kevin Ronte, we talked about him in the pregame show. On a PTO. Those bubble days, Riker, they still stick with you if you're a Colorado Avalanche fan.
Yeah, hat trick in Game 7, as we've seen. So Kevin Ronte, a real slick player, as you can imagine, on a player tryout here, trying to make the Avalanche roster.
Well, trying to drive the one down deep, could not quite do it. Avs will take control of the near side. Set up and out by Kevin Ronte to the neutral zone, and jammed ahead by Tufte. Riley Tufte, all 6'6" of him. Getting a good look by the Avalanche so far in training camp. Puck is sent ahead. Backhanded just wide of the cage. Sandelin tried to get that one to the post. Turnaround opportunity by Torman, and that ricochets wide. Picked up by Bolby. Knocked away from him into the slide back down to the Avalanche end.
Well, the Avs came out there absolutely buzzing, starting with that Ross Colton line. And one after one, the Avs will come out. There'll be some nerves here for the young guys trying to make an impact, an afternoon game. Sometimes that rattles guys a little bit, but either way, exhibition is on.
Puck taken away, and it's sent right through the crease off the defenseman's skate. All the way to the point it goes, and a nice little dangle move in his shot. And there's another blocker save. So the Avs putting that puck to the front of the cage early on in this contest. Kept it at the point again. Hammered back down deep by Weinstein. And the Wild will take over as that one eludes Burke, and Minnesota will carry it up. Big hit laid by Kozin on the near side, and we have a stoppage in play. As Kozin, the veteran, has been in the KHL since 2015. This is his return to North America.
Yeah, a little fumbleitis behind the net there, and that was pretty much a wide open cage. Fogarty got his skates in the way. That prevented Kozin from doing a quick wraparound right there. Boy, he had more time than he thought, Moj. I think if he'd have come out, take an extra second, he could have tapped that in.
Good opportunity. Parr, you just tried to jam it right to the crease, and again, it was Fogarty, the winger, who had his skate parked right there. Merrill tied up. Now it's Addison. Addison, the last couple of years with this Minnesota Wild team, a former second-round pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Up to the red line it goes, and the Avs will work it back to their own end. Hunt, veteran defenseman, throws it into the neutral zone. Now brought in down the wing. Here is Hunt. Angle move and a backhander. That's high over the top of the cage. So for you Avalanche fans out there, some of these players you will not recognize. That's okay. Perhaps you will in the future. And as far as Minnesota goes, again, Dean Evason, he wants to get a good look at his guys as well. The Wild are really hoping for a positive season this year.
Yes, after a great season last year. You know, they have to deal with all the salary cap buyout contract issues, but there's a lot of players here that have played no games in the NHL. Some have played 20 to 30, but really the top line for the Avs are the only big names on this ice here today.
Carried up top, turnaround opportunity, that's off. Shin all the way down, and Onanen will play that puck. Steers it off on the near side. Hit was taken by Schutem. Wrapped around up the boards, and all the way up the ice it comes. Colton will send it across. Interesting, too, looking at the Minnesota Wild roster. It's always fun to see players from Minnesota get an opportunity with the Wild. Even if it's not with a parent club, an opportunity to fill out the roster in Iowa. Avs with a steal. That's off a skate. Quick shot there. Score! Yoel Kiviranta says, how do you do? I'll take it. Able to rip it by the blocker. of Wallstead. The Avs have an early 1-0 lead.
Well, we know Kiviranta can shoot the puck. And he pulled that one right up out of his feet, and absolutely. Shelton, you can see it's a broken play in the end zone. Little pass across, the movement goes right to him. I think that was meant to go down low. Got deflected to Kiviranta. Watch the pass going down low, off the skate. Boom, right up top. And he says, thank you, far side, posting in. Shades of Game 7. Hey, Mose, I don't even like to talk about it, but that was a beauty snipe.
Well, if he could ever do that in an Avalanche sweater, we would take it, absolutely. But I think the best part about that, he was not indecisive. Had the puck on his twig and let it fly. And the Avs have the early 1-0 lead.
Beautiful point right there. Grab the puck and shoot it, just like Joe Sakic used to do. You overthink it, and the goaltender's already in position.
Hodgson couldn't get that puck up ice. Kiviranta will go to the point again. Long drive there, and it's cut down by Minnesota. Batted up and out by Lettieri, and it's chased by the Avs and Malinsky. Again, Sam Malinsky is an interesting player. He's 25 years old, played a couple of games with the Eagles last year, Riker, after his college career was over, but he was a captain and an absolute staple on that Colgate team.
Yes, he was, and it was
Cornell, I should say.
Yeah. Colgate's a good toothpaste, though.
It is.
Either
Bad
way,
football team, good toothpaste.
So Malinsky was wanted by every single team in the National Hockey League. 3 years at Cornell, he was unreal in the rookie camp about 2 weeks ago, and they were there, ironically, to look at Matthew Steinberg, and they're best friends, him and Malinsky. So Steinberg side, and Malinsky said, you know what? I look at the Avs, I look at how they grow defensemen, I look at the opportunity. I think I can come in here and make a difference. And at 25 years old, look for him to either make the team or be a quick call-up as this season goes on.
Well, in these 7 games with Colorado Eagles last year, he had 3 goals and 2 assists, so he did produce. And of course, if you're going to play for Jared Bednar or now Aaron Schneekloth, you've got to be able to play defense first. Fogarty. Right into the trapezoid. Rubbed off that puck. Wild lose the hand. And it's set up and out with a backhand by Sandelin. Merrill. Collision on the far side. Got a piece of Parry. Back to his own zone. It's Addison.
Yeah, Parry came across high with that elbow, trying to make a big hit. Kind of missed it. Got lucky he didn't take a penalty.
Here comes Minnesota in. Down deep. Haight. Couldn't quite get to that puck. I think this might not have a penalty here, Reichs. And I think it might be a high sticking penalty.
As Dean Evison, head coach for the Wild, looks on here, could be a high sticking penalty.
Maybe that puck was, yeah, I think it is going to be a penalty, and the Avs will sit for the first time this afternoon.
Number 91 has a 2-minute minor for high sticking.
So Henry Bolby, who's on an AHL contract, 3 years at Harvard, spent the last couple of years with the Charlotte Checkers. He'll sit for 2.
Yeah, Bolby, another one of these American Hockey League stars. As you see the hit in the corner there. Helmet went up, didn't see much of a high stick there, but either way, yeah, Bolby, another guy just trying to make an impact so he can be what we call call-upable. Is he good enough to come up and help the Avalanche if injuries happen?
So the Wild with the first power play opportunity of the game, and it's knocked ahead. Avs are in pursuit. Set down in front for Colton, and a save by Wallstead. Loose puck. It goes off of Wood and into the corner. And a penalty coming up. It's going to be a hooking call.
Minnesota, number 18, has a 2-minute minor. Hooking.
So Sammy Walker and his penalty will make it 4-on-4, just 16 seconds into the Wild power play.
Well, we'll take a look, go back over. Here's a high stick that was called on the Avs right there. Well, that was a bit of a good acting job. Either way, the stick was in the area, and good luck trying to contain Miles Wood, folks. I'm telling you, he is going to become a fan favorite here with the speed, the way he reads the game. Just couldn't get that puck across to Ross Colton. And you can see he's just being bamboozled in front. Avs couldn't grab the puck, but Miles Wood was hoping to make a nice smooth pass across.
Walker got that blade right into the gut of 2 minutes for hooking. Miles Wood. One thing I can say about Wood playing for the New Jersey Devils, in the games, of course, the Avs would only face them twice a year. He always was noticeable. And if you're a coach, you want a guy who's noticeable out there and his motor's always going.
And unlike you and me, he's cut from stone. Just an incredible fitness.
Merrill will walk it in through the bottom of the circle and gave it off to Hayne. Steers it. Addison. Back to Merrill it goes. No shooting lane as he's challenged at the blue line. Now the Wild will have to retreat. Both teams will get a change here as we're still 4-on-4 for another minute. And Some pushing and shoving at the red line in front of the benches draws the ire of the officials. We'll give ourselves an opportunity to take our first time out of the preseason. 13:25 to go here. In period number 1, the Avalanche with an early 1-0 lead. Yoel Kiviranta on a PTO.
For a lot of guys, obviously, right? Whether you look at our top line and those guys coming together and seeing if they can gel together, and then opportunities for young guys to make an impression. Really looking to see if they can absorb the information and all the things and all the stuff that we've done over this week here and see if they can apply that to the game now.
It's still early, but anybody standing out so far?
Well, Miles Woods had a good start. Lots of energy. He's physical. He's on it, and I'd like to see that continue.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Katie, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
How about what Prater said? Can they absorb the information? They go over all the strategy, how they want to play D&O modes. I got to tell you, I struggled as a player absorbing information, and things can happen so fast out there. You can get out of position and look bad in a hurry.
Avs will bring it in. Still 4-on-4 for another 45 seconds. Outside of the cage. It's batted away. Kiviranta all the way to the point. Taken by Weinstein. Now quick centering pass, and Kiviranta couldn't get that one on net. We did have matching minors right before we went to break. A couple of roughing penalties, and so quick shot, kick saved by Onanen. He boots it right up the slot, and the Avs can get a 2-on-1, but Kiviranta's at the end of his shift.
Kiviranta said, I need the oxygen bag. There's no way I got the legs to make that a 2-on-1. That was unfortunate.
Well, guys have been in town for some time skating, that's for sure. But again, you're talking about preseason hockey now, Riker. It's their first taste for a lot of these guys. The rookies did have their opportunity to play in that rookie tournament, but for some of the veterans, okay, let's get out there and show what we can do. Good hit by Colton on the near side as Johansson got laid out.
And skating is one thing, and practices have been physical in training camp, but when you get in the game and everything is just battling, you get fatigued so much faster.
Ujar Kara brought that one in. He's been in the league for quite some time. 8-year pro. That puck smothered by Onanen to the left side of his crease, and he'll hold on. Well, Avalanche fans, join us for the final Avalanche Hockey Hour of the summer. It's Wednesday, 6 p.m. at the Campus Lounge, presented by Coors Light. We love the Campus Lounge.
That's my old home, Jim Wisty. Rest his soul, the Campus Lounge is iconic here in Colorado sports history.
Come on, hang out with myself, Connor McGahey, Katie Gause. Riker may make a stop by. We'll talk all things Avalanche hockey. You can also enter to win player autographed items, and you don't want to miss out. It's Wednesday at 6 at the Campus Lounge. Oh my goodness, the stories of that place in the last 50 years.
Oh boy, have you ever been in the basement of the Campus Lounge?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing.
Enough said.
Exactly. I'm probably better off for it, right? No, I love the Campus Lounge, and everybody knows where it is right there off University, so make sure you get on over there as we had an offside call. We'll bring that puck up and out.
And there's Callahan Burke, 26 years old, and he has the speed to play in the National Hockey League. And he could be a bit of a dark horse to make this team or be, as we say, heavily call-upable, because he is NHL ready as long as there's a spot for him.
Cal Burke played 4 years with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. He's been with the Eagles. He had 2 games with the Avs last season. So, as you said, Riker, he was call-upable last year. Malinsky steers it in off the wire. Avs race for it. Tanner Carroll. Talking about him, I'm sure, as the preseason wears on. The former Michigan Tech player, but he's played 134 games in the National Hockey League, so his experience is there. Comes to the Avs on an AHL contract, trying to make an impact again. And you never know what can do it. The coaches, they like little things and doing the little things right.
Yeah, and I talked to Brian Wilsey today, head of player development, for about an hour, and that's how I came up with the term call-upable. Can you come in and perform for the Avs? And a guy like Tanner Carroll, he's an American League star. The Eagles this year, Moj, they are favored probably in the top 3 to win the Calder Cup. So they have a stacked team down in the American Hockey League this year.
The puck is whacked in at a mid-end by Larry to the near side. Wild, scoop it away. Turnover shot deflected wide of the cage. So the Avs applying the offensive pressure here in the early going in this one. It's Merrill under a little bit of pressure. He'll steer it up to center ice. He got a stoppage in play and an interference penalty on the Colorado Avalanche. Some traffic being run as the Wild tried to pursue that puck.
Looks like Sage Weinstein.
Number 39, that's 2-minute minor interference.
Now here's Sage Weinstein. He's 18 years old, if you can believe it. Went undrafted, and the Avs said, hey, come on an amateur tryout for us. But you can see right there, just kind of gets in the way too much. Tried to cause a little interference, but that was a lot of interference, and that's going to put you in the box.
And you mentioned undrafted, Edmonton native at 6 foot and 175 pounds. 18 years of age, he's got his name on the back of an Avalanche sweater, and now he's sitting in the boxes. Jared Bednar would like to see these young guys just be a little bit more disciplined.
Yeah, and what a thrill for him, too. And so he only got an invite to main camp because he was so good at rookie camp in Vegas. And, you know, Wilsey and Cruz said, come on in. Let's see what you can do in main camp. And he'll go back to the Spokane Chiefs for sure, but he's a good young prospect for the Avs.
This is the veteran, Oligoski. Minnesota back on the power play. First one lasted 16 seconds. Karen, quick centering pass. That shot blocked away. Schoenemann has lost his stick. Kicked into the corner. Here's the defenseman just trying to shield off Kara. Not an easy thing to do because Jujhar Kara is a large man.
Watch your back, man.
Battled for, just outside the trapezoid. That puck will squirt up the boards for Duhaime. Sent up top, and Goligoski will give it back. Top of the circle on a wrist shot. Never got through, and it finally does to Anand, and he's able to gobble it up right there at the top of the crease to bring the whistle with 1:21 to go in this Wild power play.
Boy, what a great play by Schoenemann. Loses his stick, so you're down a half man. Look, you see it's broken. He's got to drop it right there, but he still plays a physical game, jumps on the puck, blocks the shot, and then he's able to get it back to Anand to stop the play. But it's terrifying as a penalty killer when you lose that stick. You basically should almost go to the bench to get a new one. Here's the last shot right here. That's blocked in front, and then a harmless play back to Anand, who always looks so calm and cool in the nets, doesn't he, Moj?
He certainly does, and he's in terrific shape coming into this camp. Is Justus Anand.
Somebody say 0% body fat?
Well,
that's not possible. I think that's a play on words.
I think you're right about that, but nobody has ever said that about you and I.
No.
I can promise you.
One time back in 04, actually.
Yeah, maybe in 04.
Yeah.
That one test with the St. Louis Blues. All right, here comes Minnesota again. Drop pass finds the target as Walker has it on the near side, gives it back. All the way to the point in Addison. Here's it back down deep. Addison's trying to keep Minnesota on the outside. Patan. Gets it back, looking toward the dot. Steered down low. No cross-ice pass available. The Avs cut it off. Addison looking for his shooting lane. Cannot find one. Approaching 30 seconds to go in this kill for the Avalanche. Back far side and a one-timer, and a kick save by Anand. Tufte couldn't get it out. Wild will continue. Patan gave it back to the defenseman. Addison straight away into the circle. That centering pass broken up. Good active stick. Right down deep. Now it's Walker. Final 5 seconds of the Wild power play. Right, gave it to Patan. Out of the box. Comes Weinstein in front. Deflected and knocked away by the Avs. And all the way down the ice. Isn't enough for an icing call. It's waved off.
What a job by the penalty killers. And fatigue set in at the last minute on the backdoor pass. It was right in the Wild player's skates, and Anand was there for the save. That was a good job keeping the puck to the outside by the penalty killers.
That one's fired off the stick of Kupalainen. Into the corner is Swaney. He could not control it. Here's the veteran Hunt to find the glass. Cut down with a high stick by Minnesota. That will bring us to a whistle, and that will also bring us to a timeout with 8 minutes and 11 seconds to go in period number 1 of preseason game at number 1. The Avs still with a 1-0 lead in the long shot there. So stick around, more of that coming up at the first intermission. That shot blocked away, and it's taken by the Avs. Flipped off the board by Sandelin, and the Minnesota Wild will retreat back to their own end. It's Mermis. You and I were talking about Dakota Mermis earlier today.
Yeah, I can't believe back 2013 he was a DU Pioneer just for 19 games, but we're always going to shout out the Pios.
Certainly we will. Near side, Schoenemann up the boards with it, able to clear that one out. One in pursuit. Merrill snaps it back across for Addison. A good looking play there by Calen Addison. Not just that you can pass the puck, but how you receive the puck. And the defenseman, some really nice hands on that step by Merrill. Madison throws it up the board. There's a turnover, and it's poked away from Schoenemann. Watch out, the Wild may have a 2-on-1. Fogarty is in. The Avs able to catch back up in places. Malinsky got position in the high slot, and here come the Avalanche up the ice. Tatar finds Malinsky. The corner it goes, and Kozin able to wrap it around. Again, Brandon Kozin, an interesting guy. Drafted by the LA Kings back in 2009. He played 20 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2014, 2015, and then Riker decided, I'm going to go to Europe, and he played in the KHL ever since. So back in North America with an opportunity to get a look with the Colorado Avalanche, but certainly if he could, maybe help out the Eagles. We'll see.
We will see, yes. It's kind of strange at 33 years old to kind of come back to the North American game, but the American Hockey League is paying these players some pretty good cash these days.
Good shot right there. Kicked away by Onanen. It's Connor Dewar. Let that one fly. Now it comes to Duhaime at the points. Tufte trying to cut him off. Kara back to Duhaime. Einstein. Good body position. Tufte all over Dewar. Puck is swiped away. Einstein, the 18-year-old. Pinned his man along the end boards, and that puck sent up and out by Minnesota.
Well, you see one of the biggest challenges for both teams is guys playing with new players and trying to find that instant chemistry. It's kind of tough.
You look at Riley Tufte, all 6'6" of him. We'll see more of him when we come back. In the early going.
Star, and the Avs have picked him up. And the question with him is, does he have the wheels to play at the National Hockey League level? He's a 25th overall pick, so the hype is all there. But you can see he's got the hands. They're giving him an opportunity to play left wing and or center, and he could be one of the final cuts, if not making the team for the Avs. But with that size, as you know, sometimes it takes those guys a while to grow into their bodies. And Tufte and the Avs are hoping this is his year.
He does have 13 career games in the NHL with the Dallas Stars, has a goal. But again, he's been primarily with the Texas Stars, as that's an icy call on the Avs. We'll bring it all the way back down the other way. But again, you never know who's going to stand out. And when you're 6'6", it certainly helps.
Yeah, and the big deal is last year he had 19 goals playing in Texas. So whenever you get to that 20-goal mark in the American Hockey League, which, believe it or not, is more difficult to play in than the NHL because it's so uncontrolled down there. It's such a fine line for guys like him. And exhibition games like this and the rest he are going to get are critical on his chances of making this team.
Draw far circle, or excuse me, a near circle, I should say. Ari versus Laterra. The Avs win it. Brad Hunt throws it off the stick of Burke. Wild in the way on the back check. Oh, tried to filter it back down the boards. It's whacked away by Minnesota. Benny Laterra able to scoot it to the red line. The 10 will just dump it in. Wild with the help of a power play opportunity of taking the lead in shots on goal and sort of stretched it now. It's 8-3 in favor of Minnesota. Addison floats one down deep off a couple of skates, and the Avs will look to turn it up ice. And off for Bowlby, he'll bump it ahead and give chase. The Avs will get a chain.
Well, you can see the Avs are not taking long shifts. This first game, a lot of guys seem pretty winded here. It's been a long summer for the Avalanche, and it takes a while for the players to get acclimated, even though they come in immaculate condition.
Well, Colorado Avalanche fans, do not forget that beer and hockey go together like wine and cheese, so grab a case of Mountain Time. Legendary, crisp, crushable premium lager from New Belgium Brewing. And I know that this season you and I will be enjoying a little Mountain Time at times.
Yes, I can promise you most of the players on this ice had hardly any Mountain Time all summer long. The conditioning is extreme, but just getting in that game shape, it's a different type of conditioning. Usually it takes guys 1 or 2 games to really get the feel.
Colton wins a draw. One thing about Ross Colton, he can really find success in that face-off circle. One of the reasons the Avs brought him in. Colton sends it off for Wood. All the way up to the point of Malinsky. Jack Johnson dancing his way down the blue line to his D partner. Back it goes for the veteran Johnson. Tried to go out in front, and good stick there by Minnesota, and it's cleared out.
Jack Johnson must have been watching Cale McCart tapes all summer because that looks pretty stellar.
Dancerou there right at the blue line.
And then all the way down in front of the net and almost buried it.
Steered off through Colton, who's at the end of his shift. Addison's been out there quite a while as well, and that one scoots right through Schoenemann. Back to the Avs zone, and that is enough for another icing call with 3:27 to go here in period number 1. Let's take another look at the Superman Jack Johnson back with the Avs.
I mean, look at the dangle. I don't believe I've ever seen that from Jack Johnson. He keeps it simple, but you know it's exhibition. Watch this. This is a Kale special. The old head bob, lose your forward, and then he carries it down the wall and tries to stuff it in front of the net. You know what you love about Jack Johnson? This is his 18th year in the National Hockey League. One of the most physical guys at camp the other day.
Long shot, knocked down in the slot. Addison is there for Jared Bednar. A guy like Jack Johnson, you know what you're going to get on any given shift. That one steered right up a skate in the low slot and ricocheted wide of the net. Tufte with a backhand shot, and that's wide of the cage. Schoenemann with another drive. Wallstedt is right there. Well, Kemi Ronta, the only goal of the game so far. Batted down by Klerman. Klerman worked his way down the boards, but Minnesota able to take it away. And on the move is Sweeney, and he'll dump it in and change. But again, back to Jack Johnson. Of course, after the Stanley Cup championship, signed with the Chicago Blackhawks and then traded back to the Avalanche. And then back with the Avs this year because Jared Bednar, I should say, has an opportunity to look at him and say, I know what I'm going to get on any given shift. Incredibly reliable is the better.
And he's still one of the few players that can play and carry 225 pounds and be mobile. So Jack Johnson's got like that Ray Bork effect a little bit.
Berg steered it up to the point. There's a long shot there. Loose puck. Oh, and it's underneath. The Wallstedt took a peek behind him. And he's able to hang on with 2 minutes and 9 seconds now to go here in period number 1. So the Avs starting to push the issue back the other way.
Yeah, Tanner Kero, number 88 right there, is thinking, how did that stay out? There comes the bomb from the point. Tanner Kero's in front. Wallstedt's just kind of sitting going, I sure hope this is under me because if it's sneaking out, it's in the back of the net. But good back-to-back shifts by the Avalanche. Started with that Fredrik Olofsson line, led now by the Tanner Kero line. And the young guys here, so to speak, starting to build some momentum.
That will be in the far circle. Barry's in there, wins it. Slid across by Weinstein. Now it's Burke. Tried to float one through Goligoski. The veteran's not going to let that happen. Here's Burke down the boards. Ran out of real estate and paid the price for it. Nice hit by Hunter Haight. Jousting as that puck finally pops free, and Burke could not put it on net. Haight sends it up and out. On that line, you've got Hunter Haight and Riley Haight. And so for us in the preseason, like it would be for anybody else, some guys that you haven't seen before, trying to get to know them a little bit from both teams. Tatar to Colton. Centering pass to Wood, and a penalty coming up on the Wild. So the Avs will get an opportunity, officially their second power play of the contest, but the first one only lasted 16 seconds.
Well, a good shift there by the Colton line again, but here's Callahan. Burke with the speed, but sometimes you just get caught trying to hang on to that puck too long.
Has a 2-minute minor for hooking.
And here's the pass across. Miles Wood just sliding out there to try and tap that in the back of the net. Get used to that all season long, folks, because this third line is literally, you could call it a second line on probably 20 to 25 other teams, but this is going to be arguably the third line for the Avs. It'll be the best in the NHL. The forward depth the Avs have coming into this season, I believe, is as deep as their cup team, if not deeper.
So the Avs in the power play. Minute 19 to go in period number 1. Colton's going to be kicked out. And Carroll comes in. Linesman Ryan Galloway not liking what he sees so far, and out of the circle goes Dewar. Avs will pick it up. It's Malinsky. Here's it across to Tatar. Back up top. Pass broken up. Good pursuit there by Jujhar Khaira.
Yeah, Malinsky will get his timing down. Things just come a little bit faster as the players get cut and get closer to NHL level.
Tatar finds Malinsky again. Less than a minute to go in period 1. Cross ice pass finds a target. And that shot by Tatar off a body and over the top. Fired up top, and Malinsky sends it down deep, and Wood wasn't ready for it. Sort of handcuffed him there right at the skates.
Good vision by Malinsky there. I thought he was going to shoot it for sure. He sold shot, made a sneak pass down to Wood.
Colton tried to drive one deep. It went off of Merrill, and then I think it hit Murmas before it finally found the netting.
Yeah, good power play by the Avalanche. It's always tough on these guys. They get thrown together, trying to put a power play together. But Malinsky's the quarterback up top. See how he sold that shot and did that sneak little side pass. Watch this. Looks like he's going shot, looking shot the whole way, and tries to hit Miles Wood down below. Just a little off target on the pass.
Here's a look at Ross Colton on the bench, and again, we talked about it earlier. JT Compher with a free agent deal from the Detroit Red Wings, and the Avs trading a second-round pick for Colton, signing him to a 4-year contract, and they are very excited about what they think he can do in an Avalanche sweater. Time ticking down, final 15 of period number 1. Avs still on the power play. Military diving for that puck as Kivi Ronta steers it away. Tufte gives it back. Down to 5 seconds. Schoenemann, near side one-timer, and it's blocked away as Kozin let it go. And that will do it for the first 20 minutes of hockey here at Ball Arena.
I thought it was pretty entertaining. We've seen the top line of Colton, Tatar, and Wood dominate that period as they should have, and it's exhibition, but overall, hockey's back, baby. It feels so good.
Hockey is back. At the end of one, it's the Avalanche on top of the Wild by a score of 1-0, and you're watching Colorado Avalanche hockey on Altitude. After the break, stay tuned for highlights and much, much more. It's the Altitude Intermission Report, and our good buddy, the lonely Kyle Keefe, is standing by. He has it all for you, so don't go anywhere. Cycle reel highlights from the first 20 minutes of hockey.
Well, the Avalanche had a little bit of Plinko luck. You can see Frederick Olsen tries to slide that down to Tufte. Goes off the skate right to Yoel Kivi Ronta, who just snaps it in. Now watch Miles Wood. Watch him pick up the speed. 17 miles an hour all the way up to, well, 19. He was at 22 at one point. Either way, he jumps that open area, draws the penalty. Get ready for Miles Wood to do that all year. And then Malinsky over to Ross Colton, gets a quick snapshot on net, giving you a look at all the new guys and what's to come. Now watch Tufte, look at him pick that puck. Boy, he's got great hands. He's an exciting prospect for this team, and you can see the new faces. Some not in the lineup tonight, but Ryan Johansson probably the biggest. Jonathan Drouin, how's he going to fit on that wing with Nathan McKinnon and Wood, Tatar, and Colton all in the lineup here tonight? That is an unreal job by the brass for the Avalanche in the offseason, acquiring those awesome hockey players.
And it's a real opportunity for Jonathan Drouin, too, to, again, get things going after some tough times in Montreal. But if you're playing with Nathan McKinnon and a guy that he knows obviously very well, that'll be terrific. And there's Miles Wood. Avs are really excited to get him. So excited, Roger, they say, okay, we're going to sign you to a 6-year deal because we know you've got a lot left in the tank still to come.
And there's a lot of guys that get great contracts simply because other teams don't want to play against them. Going into New Jersey was hellish because you knew Miles Wood was going to run you over. Plus, he can score goals. In the Avs, with Landeskog out of the lineup, you lose a little bit of that bruising punch that they used to have, and Miles Wood definitely, he's not replacing Landeskog, but he helps that physical forward presence the Avalanche need.
So here we are for period number 2 again, the Avs. With 35 to go on the power play now. See what they can do as Malinsky is back to retreat back behind his own net. Saw Gabe Landeskog on media day this past week. And Riker, if you didn't know it, you'd never know that he had that major reconstructive surgery in the cartilage in his knee. And we have a penalty coming up. It's going to be for interference. Just 21 seconds into period at number 2, and Malinsky is going to go off.
Colorado number 70 has a 2-minute minor for interference.
Referees today are Kyle Raymond and Brandon Schrader. That's the voice of Schrader. So the Avalanche power play is over.
Yeah, Malinsky's in the box. You can see, oh, just right in front, that's that little interference that gets called so often in the National Hockey League. He barely even touched the player, was basically in the way. But, you know, back to Gabe Landeskog. I don't think we should tease ourselves or any of the fans out there. Gabe is out for the entire season. The only positive you can bring out of that is that Gabe's contract money, his $7 million, is back into the team this year, whereas last year the Avalanche didn't have that opportunity. So it's made the Avs stronger by being able to use his money.
Addison flips it down deep, Wild on the power play in 14 seconds. And as far as Landeskog is concerned, I love to hear him say that he sees a path forward to getting back into the National Hockey League. Set down deep, quick shot off the side of the net. As Hunter Hay came racing in, tried to go top shelf short side. On it said no. Duhaime digs that one out of his skates. Wild on the power play now 1:30 left on it. And Addison flips it off. Height right up top. Addison with a long shot there. It was high rising. Wanted a redirect, couldn't get it. The Avs will steer it all the way down the ice.
Well, you can see young guys Addison there. One time that puck misses the net by about 2 feet up top. One thing you watch Cale Makar and the great D-men of the league, they rarely miss the net.
Payne pokes it back up top. By Height. Now Duhaime. Kara all the way to the point, and Addison will walk a little bit. Under a minute to go on the power play for Minnesota. Tip down to the low slot. Avs read that play well.
You called it, Mose. Good job by the penalty killers. The Wild try to set that 1-2 pass up for the one-time shot in the slot, and the Avs read that like a book and broke it up.
I like that pursuit by Sandelin as well. Recognized and chased that puck all the way to the far boards and making the play to get it out and all the way down. It will go. And Sandelin's an interesting guy, too. He is from Hermantown, Minnesota. 24 years of age, played at Minnesota State. What's interesting, too, is he played junior hockey at Penticton and then went to Minnesota State.
What a great city, Penticton. I know somebody was born there. I'm not sure who.
Well, the Rikers are famous in Penticton. Another penalty coming up on the Avalanche. It will not be a 5-on-3 as that puck escapes the zone. Delayed call. Minnesota back to get it. Extra skater is out on the ice.
Yeah, and back to Sandelin. His dad is Scott Sandelin, the winning coach at Minnesota Duluth. But I guess he said, no, Pops, I'm not going to play for you. I'm going to go to Mankato State instead.
Well, they don't call it Mankato anymore. I mean, that's
Minnesota Mankato, right?
Colorado number 3 is a 2-minute minor for tripping.
So Jack Johnson goes off. I think they just
Minnesota State.
Yeah, people who are
Yes.
watching in Minnesota will tell you, hey, we're Minnesota State.
That's right.
Now, for us in the WCHA days, it's Mankato.
Yeah, and you know why they changed it? Just to be brutally honest, it wasn't sexy enough. I'm not kidding you.
Maybe.
Minnesota State. Ooh, I'd like to play there. Mankato State? I'm not too sure about that one. The power of words, right? It's like they changed to Chilean sea bass. All of a sudden it's sold. It used to be called whitefish or something. I'm close on that. It's something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You're part-time chef, so you'd know.
It's a true story on the fish, by the way.
I believe you. I know nothing about that. Jared Bednar watching his guys parade to the box. Wild back on the power play yet again. Colton's going to be kicked out of the draw, and Connor Dewar waits to see who it will be. It'll be Wood.
To play off of this, Coach Bednar is dead set on needing some good penalty killers this year. So it's a good opportunity for some guys to show their penalty killing shots.
Koligoski, Duhaime was done with his shot, and that's deflected wide off the stick of Schoenemann. And again, Schoenemann breaks his stick. He'll get one from Wood. The Avs down to 3.5 skaters. Duhaime back for Goligoski. Looking for a seam, couldn't find one. Damon Hunt gets that puck back across ice, and a quick shot saved by Oninen. And excellent recognition by the Avalanche goaltender. Very strong in his crease today, and seeing the puck very well so far.
Yes,
that one escapes Duhaime out.
Sorry, Mo Schoenemann, he did not move that stick out of the way. He left it right in play because it was another thing that the Wild players would have to try and pass over. So smart play like that, taking his broken stick on the ice and just leaving it there.
Goligoski, super bet. Rifled that one in as it took a funny hop. Pursued by Walker when he's got control. Taken by Height. All the way back to the point of Goligoski. The corner. Hunt was there. Wild still on the outside on this power play chance. Now 40 seconds left in it. Creeping in, quick center pass, shot, score! And Sammy Walker had that puck squirt right to him, able to get a little tiny one-timer off past Oninen, and the Minnesota Wild with a power play goal have tied it at 1.
And Oninen lost his timing here because this puck went under Schoenemann. When it did, it lost its speed. So watch the puck go down, goes right under, and it slows down, then gets deflected in front. And Walker just jumps all over it. So it's a twice broken play. Watch it go down here, goes under the body, slows down, deflected there. And all of a sudden, it's anybody's puck. Kind of a free-for-all, bit of a hungry hippo situation. And Walker buries it in the back of the net. That'll feel good for him.
Well, Sammy Walker's got 9 games with Minnesota in his career. Was a 3-year captain with the Golden Gophers. He's from Medina, so he's, again, one of those Minnesota guys able to play for his home state team. Fed ahead. Avs have control with Kozin. He'll walk in, cross-line pass. Mistimed by Burke a little bit. That puck was hopping on.
Well, you can see the talent of Kozin now. He came in, was real smooth, and gave a nice little sauce pass. Might have had a little too much height going over Callahan Burke.
And Walker, he read that play well. I mean, he worked his way right down to the low slot, waiting for that puck to get to him. So he put himself in proper position to ram it home, make it a 1-1 contest.
Yeah, Walker had 56 points, 48 games last year in the American League, so he knows what he's doing.
One-timer, and that's wide of the cage. Kept in by Minnesota at the point, and now the Wild trying to keep that momentum going as the Avs finally get control. Kozin filters it off, and Weinstein cut off at center ice. Right back comes Minnesota. It's Height, cut off, and a good sliding play by the defenseman Hunt, and a centering pass. The Avs broke it up. Minnesota with Haight with a shot, and that went off the leg right in front of Onanen. So the Wild are feeling it right now.
Yeah, they're feeding off those power plays. Couple turnovers by the Avs, and Onanen with a couple of big saves.
Wrapped off for Hunt. Brad Hunt has been around and made a terrific play on the 2-on-1.
Brad Hunt is legendary. He's hockey lore. He ended up playing 47 games for the Avs last year. Talk about a call-upable guy. He can do it all.
Great dude, too. We all love Brad Hunt. Slam back for Merrill. Little squirt to the Avalanche end, and here's Johnson. All the way for Colton. Sent down deep as Sandlin is in pursuit. Wallstead came out to play that puck. Boldy. Ridden off by Duhaime. And the Wild have control, out shooting the Avs 15-10. But again, the power play chances have helped contribute to that.
Yeah, you can see the lines are a little mixed up now, so all the power plays have shook everything up for Coach Bednar and the young Avalanche exhibition team here.
Dewar up top. Long shot, Johansson, and is saved by Onanen with a blocker. Colton was pinned by Kara, and the Avs take control. Wood wanted to get on his horse in the worst kind of way, now to Tar. Tried to walk it in. Honor Dewar takes a hit from Wood. There's that body being thrown around by Miles Wood at 6'2" and 202. Kara all the way to the red line. Trying to work his way past Olofsson. Into the near corner. Foreman battled for it. Now he's got control. Rams it up ice. Down the left wing, it's Tufte. Walks in and shoots right over the top of that net. Not a whole lot to look at there as Wallstedt made himself big. Tufte will give it up. There's a shot in and right into the chest of Wallstedt. Will bring us to a whistle and a timeout. 12:52 to go in period number 2. The Minnesota Wild with a power play goal have evened things up at 1 goal apiece. Cal Burke had that puck bounce on him.
And he was maybe more proud of winning the QMJHL championship, then called the President's Cup, as much as he was winning the Memorial Cup a few weeks later.
That puck sent up to the blue line. And steered back.
One more thing in that Memorial Cup, you know, it's a 4-game round robin. He had 13 points in that. I mean, Nathan MacKinnon's playoff ability from the NHL back to junior hockey. The guy has always been just an absolute baller. 61 points in 34 career junior playoff games.
Got an injured Wild player down in the near corner. The puck was on the far side. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I think this is Damon Hunt, Reichs. And it is.
I didn't see the play. I was too busy excited about all my Nathan MacKinnon stats because it's incredible what he accomplished in Halifax. But I don't know if he took a stick to the face or an elbow to the face, but we'll take a look at it right here. Kind of watch the bottom of your screen. Oh, I see that was purely accidental. So he comes around the net. He's not looking.
Ooh.
And right there, I mean, Carroll does not put out the elbow. He's just trying to slide behind the net. There is no real estate behind the net. So watch his arm. It's tucked in. And he just, oh, that's a fluke injury. Accidentally runs right into that elbow. Right on the nose. Boy, I can't tell you how much that hurts. Because you don't see it coming either. He was looking back, Moj. Oh, that'll smart you.
You hate to see a guy in any situation get a shot in the head. intentional or not. And
Boy,
well, Damon Hunt will head to the room. Let's take another look at it. I think it's at the very last second, Riker, that
yeah.
that Carroll.
No, looking backwards, it just, as you grow up in the hockey world, you just never look backwards. Don't do it. Now he's looking up ice, trying to watch a play, and Carroll had nowhere to go, right? He's already tucked to the net, and things happen so fast. But boy, you always got to be looking in front of you. If you look back, it's got to be for a millisecond, not a full second, as the young defenseman did skating behind his own net.
There was no penalty on the play. The draw will be inside the Minnesota zone.
And you agree? I don't think there should have been. That was accidental contact, or incidental, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, it's a bang-bang situation. We see it in slow motion.
Yeah, and Carroll.
But we're always trying to be hyper vigilant about guys and their heads.
Absolutely, because that can change lives, change careers. But Carroll just kept everything tucked in. If anything, sometimes you honestly do this on the ice. You'll say heads up to the other guy coming at you, because you know he's left himself so vulnerable.
Well, Rocker, let's see what we have here. Referee Kyle Raymond is going to talk to the Minnesota bench. Tanner Carroll is still on the ice for the Avs. Dean Evison wants an explanation.
I think the officials are looked at the play as we did. So I believe they can call a major after the play. The linesman can get involved. And yeah, Dean Evison's going to be hot, of course. He's saying, did he put the arm up? Well, we clearly see Carroll. He just kept everything tucked in. He was as close to the net as he could get, so it's just unfortunate.
Quick talk with the Avalanche bench, and here we go. 12 minutes and 1 second here in period number 2 left on the clock. Kozin looks in. Now he's going to be kicked out of the draw.
You know what's funny is in the old days, a player like that, you were allowed to hit him. I mean, that was when green light hits were. And now in today's hockey, the guy's vulnerable, which is smart. It's so fast. It's up to the player. You got to hit the shoulder, but that was just accidental.
This could be an icing call. No, it's waved off. Up the boards it comes. Merrill works his way down the boards. Sweeney absorbed the hit in the far corner, but comes out to the red line. Kozin picked up by Sweeney. Good back check by the young Nick Sweeney. And now it's Weinstein. Throws it up the middle of the ice in his own zone. It's a turnover. Quick shot and a save by Onanen. As Jujar and Carroll let that one go. And it's time for The Future Is in Your Hands. It's all presented by the Ball Corporation.
Well, it's a Nathan McKinnon night, and you know he had an amazing junior career. Just look at the goals, the assists, the points per game. He came in as a 16-year-old, and I watched all the stuff online. His coach said, we knew you were going to be different. Yeah, you're dang right he was going to be different. Now, to be dominating at the National Hockey League level, and guess what, Mr. McKinnon? It won't be your last jersey retirement. I can promise you that.
Don't forget, there's more of that coming up during the second intermission, as Katie was talking about. Stick around. You talk about all the points he had in the Memorial Cup, but the next year with the Avalanche in the postseason had 10 points in the first round against these Minnesota Wild. You know how that ended, though? That was a disappointing loss in Game 7.
Well, then McKinnon in his NHL career, 100 points in 77 games. So he's only gotten better as he's aged.
Holby on his spinorama move on the veteran Goligoski. Klurman now drags it all the way up top. Shoot him with the long floating wrister, and that missed the net. I'm not sure that Wallstedt saw it, was late to react, but it was wide of the cage anyway.
Yeah, it sure was. And one thing about McKinnon, watching him in training camp, I swear Mosey got faster and smoother. I don't know how he did it, but his off-season training is just immaculate.
Like, took the Ferrari to the shop, got it all tuned up. Long drive there, and it's ricocheted wide.
Yeah, he made the fastest Ferrari in the world a little faster. Well said, Mosey.
Addison. Centering pass tipped off. Down the slot with his shot, and that's over the top of the net. As Mermis let that one go. Off of Mermis. Foot race. Tatar trying to get there. Set in by Heights. Avs will take control of Malinsky.
And one last thing about McKinnon, who was the first guy on the ice, first day training camp.
Here comes Colton in with the Pesta Wood. And the Wild able to break it up. Sorry, Reichs.
Oh, you're good, buddy. Okay, I swear I'll stop talking about McKinnon. Back to the game.
You know more about the Mooseheads, I think, than people in Halifax do. I mean, seriously, you've study. The Avs are onside. Corbin down low, deflected wide, and that one sent off the back of the cage. Miles Wood doing Miles Wood type of things already in an Avalanche sweater. I mean, such a big frame at 6'2" and 2 bills. Brad Hunt throws it down deep, and it's kicked away by Wallstedt.
Well, Brad Hunt wanted to unleash the bomb. It was a bit behind him.
That drive blocked away. Another shot that's off the glass. It comes all the way down. And Wallstedt, we were talking about him in the pregame show, and then as we got underway, a couple of really good years with the Iowa Wild. So you can see why Minnesota is so excited about his future.
Yeah, anytime you draft a goaltender in the first round, obviously you're thinking that's a career-changing move. You know, if you have great goaltending, you can overcome a lot of deficiencies.
Avs on the move. Backhand pass by Carroll, but nobody home as Burke raced into the zone. Tough D in pursuit, but the Minnesota Wild will take control with Merrill. Terry will drop that one in, give chase. Got cut off. Shoot him in a bit undecisive, makes the play. Another turnover. Jared Bednar is not going to be happy about that. One thing he preaches, if that puck is on your stick in your own zone, you better get it out.
Yeah, guys are flying the zone a little bit, trying to get ahead of the play, and a lot of times that backfires, and as you said, Moj, leads to a lot of turnovers.
Tan, right to scoot one right through Schuneman. Now it's Vinny Lettieri. Back it comes. Johansson gives it up. Turnaround shot, deflected wide. Tan let that one go. I've been spending plenty of time in this Avalanche zone in period number 2. Flipped over the glass, and that's going to be, I think, a penalty on the Avs and Schuneman. So again, the Avs will be shorthanded when we come back. It's still a 1-1 hockey game. The Avs trying to find that next one past Wallstedt. Stanley Cup championship team. God, that was such a great team.
What an entrance into a city. Come on in with that much talent. I remember the Black Blades were all cool. We were studying these guys. Val Kamensky was one of my favorite players. Of course, you had Sakic and Forsberg, and Scotty Young was lighting up Ozolinsh on the back end, Moj. I mean, it was glory days.
I want to remind everybody, too, that this regular season, each time the Avalanche score a goal, your Front Range Toyota stores will donate $100 to youth hockey, and we love this every single season. To learn more about hockey in Colorado, visit co.hockey. We'll be taking a look at some of the terrific youth teams around the great state of Colorado as we get into the regular season.
I wish the Black Tucks would come back. Sakic had them. I know Kamensky had them. We were all wearing them in college hockey at the time. Now we're on White Blades. Who's going to bring back the Black Blades?
That's an excellent question.
I mean, from a style perspective, it's 10 out of 10.
Hey, Bauer, get on it. Kara. Wilder back on the power play. Now Goligoski will find Duhane and walk in. That one gets right through Dewar on the near side. Into the net for the Colorado Avalanches. Arvid Holm, we'll talk more about him as we continue on here. A gigantic goalie at 6'5" and 190 pounds. Originally drafted by the Winnipeg Jets. Last couple of years with the Moose, pretty good, but now an opportunity in the Avalanche system.
Yes, and a good depth signing for the Avalanche in the net right now. Last 2 years with the Moose, as you mentioned, but in the event that Pavel Francouz takes a while to get healthy and they don't have Annunen down in the minors, they need some quality goaltending there, and Arvid Holm is brought in to be just that.
So he's between the pipes now as we thought he was going to get half the game. Didn't have a whistle for about 3 minutes till we got to the Wild power play. Goligoski will give it up, gets it back in the slot, gives it off, and a penalty is coming up. And it's going to be on the Minnesota Wild, so that will negate the Wild power play chance, and a cross check on Kara will bring us to some 4-on-4 hockey. We'll listen in.
Minnesota number 16, 2-minute minor for cross-checking.
So again, it's the third power play this game, but the team on the power play has had it wiped out by a penalty.
Yeah, Kara. Sometimes when you're 6'4", 210, you don't realize how big you are. It just comes in and bowls over. Yeah, defenseman in front. Kara, he was in Chicago. He's had some great games, but he's been around the National Hockey League quite a bit. But either way, with that size, Minnesota needs him this year.
There is Arvid Holm between the pipes, you can see. Just 24 years of age. And Kara, 6 years with the Edmonton Oilers, 2 years with the Blackhawks, and now the deal with Minnesota.
And you look at the Avs, Georgiev and Francouz are both 6 foot, but all the Avs backup goaltenders are a minimum 6'10", it seems, eh? 6'4", 6'5", 6'4".
Well, you look around the NHL, there just aren't that many small goalies anymore. I mean, it seems like every guy 6 foot plus easy. Long drive by Hunt, and that missed. So 4-on-4 for another 44 seconds, and a save by Wallstedt as he stops Kozin right down deep, and he'll hold on to that puck.
Power move by Kozin right there. And just remember, he's on a player tryout, folks, so he can sign with the Avs or any other team in the National Hockey League. And there's probably 15 scouts here tonight, so that's a slick move. Coming across the front, tries to slide at 5-hole. You can see Riley Tufte in front, kind of playing a bit of a decoy. Well, that's a nice play, just no finish.
Did you notice that as well? Hunt. Talking about the scouts in the building.
Oh, yes. They're thirsting right now.
Well, everybody wants to have an opportunity to add to their roster should a team not be able to use a guy. So this is a time to take a look. That's kept in by Hunt. But it's Minnesota that will bring it ahead. Hermes tried to squeeze his way through. Head fake by Hunt, needs some help. Perfect. Had Lettieri get on him in a hurry. Finally some open space as Furman brings it in. 1-1-1. Getting a change right now. They're on the power play. Are the Avalanche. Ross Colton finds his target, sent by Wood down. Tatar had Merrill all over him. Knocked away in a good play there. Colton flips it around. Carroll sends it all the way to the near point. Tatar marching. Wood, tough angle shot off the goal stick of Wallstedt. Linsky gives it up, gets it back. That centering pass broken up by the Wild. Avs keep control. Near side, one-timer, what a glove save by Wallstedt. Tatar didn't get all he wanted on it. It sort of crossed him up a little bit, but Wallstedt there to flash the glove and keep it a 1-1 game.
Now watch Miles Wood here. He's looking up. He never looks at the goal. He's trying the sneak play. But Wallstedt was there looking for it. And then the Avs had some great puck movement. Now watch here. It's a little off in the pass, as you mentioned, Moj. Tatar, it was actually pretty impressive. He even got a shot off because that was about a foot in front of his honey spot where he could just blaze that top shelf.
Tomas Tatar, 6 times has scored 20 goals in his National Hockey League career during a season. Avs would love to see that happen this year. And again, a very late signing this summer as he remained out there. Had interest from a number of teams that said, you know what, I'll sign a 1 year with this Avalanche squad and see what can come of it.
Yep, same as Evan Rodriguez last year. As the guys don't get the big deals they want to be on a winning team. So the Avs have that scenario where they can sit back and kind of wait for players to come to them, and it worked again this year.
Power play now over. Ferra's out of the box. 1 shot on goal for the Avs on that power play chance, and now a delayed penalty coming up again on Minnesota. I believe it's on Minnesota. Another cross-checking penalty. I thought the Avs had control of that puck. But with 4:24 to go in period number 2, the Wild will send the Avs right back to the power play. When we come back, as Mermis is going off for cross-checking.
Number 6 has a 2-minute minor for cross-checking.
So don't go anywhere. The Avs will try to break the stalemate as we roll on. Dakota Mermis, the former DU Pioneer, got Kiviranta right there. Nights in preseason game number 2. So get your tickets now at ColoradoAvalanche.com, and we'll also have that game for you right here on Altitude tomorrow evening.
Not often we get to broadcast back-to-back exhibition games, Moj. That's a great way for you and me to get right back in the saddle.
Well, it is. We were talking earlier today. It sounded like you had forgotten how to talk.
And that's most often happens, but, you know, it feels real smooth right now.
I feel like I have as well. This is preseason for us, along with the players. Dug free by Dewar and able to scoot it ahead for Duhaime. They'll work it in, trying to kill some time. Rams it off the inboards. So 40 seconds gone to the Avs power play chance. Mermis is off for cross-checkings. Linsky getting a real opportunity today to run the top unit.
I think he's played a little bit nervous today, but the puck skills are undeniable. You can see where he's built. Run the top of the power play, makes good puck decisions. Just taking a couple of penalties and lost a few pucks today.
And maturity as well shown by Malinsky. And here's what's coming up in the preseason. You can see tomorrow night's game against Vegas will be on altitude. The Avs at the Wild on Thursday. Then October 1st, home against the Dallas Stars. And then the last 2 games on the road, at Dallas and at Vegas. That last game will be on TNT as the TNT crew has requested, hey, we want to do that preseason game because we need to get ourselves in order for the regular season as well. And they're going to be broadcasting in Vegas to begin the season, so they're just going to keep their stuff up and ready to go.
It could be tougher on the TNT crew. That's a lot of days in Vegas. That could backfire on them.
Did they think that one through?
I don't know if they did.
All the guys from Atlanta and the gals from Atlanta, hey, I'll go to Vegas for a couple, 4 days, 5 days.
Hey, we should tell folks as well, on exhibition, you don't get the privilege of coming in the night before the game. The Wild were on the jet this morning, I think around 6 a.m. So they flew in, and you fly out the day of.
Ronta's shot didn't get through as Merrill was in the way. Down to the final 20 seconds of the Avalanche power play. Cosen bats it up top and shot him with a shot saved by Wallstedt. He got away from him momentarily right off the Wild logo, but able to gobble that one up. 1 shot on goal, and that was it so far in this power play.
And I'll say, I think Riley Tufte's been the most noticeable player on the ice tonight. He's missed the net a couple times, but he's been in the action every shift. And you can see the big bomb's going to come from the point. Look who's in front. Big number 10, Riley Tufte. Get right in there, get that deflection. Spin around.
If you're 6'6" and 2 bills, park yourself down there.
That's
and he did a good job.
The only, question I'd say in his game is he's got to recalibrate the rifle. He's had a couple of times he's coming on the far side, missing that both times, going for that top corner, but he's been very noticeable, and that's what you want out of a rookie.
Linesman Ryan Galloway with a quick conversation.
And I should say, noticeable not because he's 6'6", noticeable because he's having an impact on the play.
Yeah, he's moving really well so far here this afternoon as Qatar tried to find Wood. Terry jousting with Hunt in the far corner. Power play is now over as Mermis is out of the box. That puck is tipped away. Patan couldn't get it off to center ice. The smart play by Ross Colton. I love what Jared Bednar had to say as that puck deflected up into the screen behind Wallstedt. He said, look, every guy in camp is going to get at least 1 preseason game. As we look at Malinsky, we think he's going to get more than 1, but an opportunity for these guys to get into a preseason game, get their name on the sweater, hit the ice, and we'll see what comes of it.
And I love this, and that just shows you bring in a smaller camp now. So all the guys that are coming in, you're serious about. And for a young guy to be guaranteed an exhibition game, that is absolutely massive. Just to put on that Avalanche jersey or an NHL jersey means a lot for young players.
When you left the DU Pioneers and you thought you could get a preseason game with the Blues, it must have just been the biggest thing.
I didn't sleep. It felt as if it was an NHL game at that time, because it was just so overwhelming being on the ice with legitimate NHL players. It blew my mind.
Walk back to the Minnesota zone is Mermis, top of the circles. Had nowhere to go with it.
And the good news is for growth and development, it starts to make that situation normalize a bit and give the guys more confidence.
Puck comes back in. Added with the backhand. Now a scramble back behind the net. Stoppage in place. Sandlin was jousting and now some mixing it up as Bolby got involved. Linesman able to step in and separate the jousting parties. Murray was there.
I can't help but think, back in my day, 20 years ago, there'd be 2 or 3 or 4 fights by now. Back in Peter McNabb's day, there'd have been about 10 or 11 fights. And here tonight, or this afternoon, we'll be lucky to see a fight, just to see how the game's changed, for better or for worse. But you can see guys battling in front here. And Sandlin, he's just kind of, he's going after, that's Bolby, pardon me, right here. Gets the hands down and said, yeah, I'm not going to put up with that. You got to get the skirmishes going. A little fight here for the Avs wouldn't be bad.
Well, Haidt had a hold of his stick. He's trying to tug it out. And that's what started all of that action. Nothing comes of it. With a $1:31 to go, the draw forward circle.
And a lot of these guys can still fight. It's just not really a big option like it used to be in the NHL.
Malinsky floats that one wide. Olofsson was in pursuit. Haven't talked a whole lot about Frederick Olofsson as well. Former third-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. Cross-ice pass. There is Olofsson with his shot, and he works it wide. came marching in and just tried to go short side, couldn't find it.
He almost had immaculate timing there, but yes, Freddie Olsen, probably the odds-on favorite to be the fourth-line center here for the Avalanche at the start of camp.
What's interesting about him, like, he was raised here in Broomfield, Colorado, despite being born in Sweden, and played with the Colorado Thunderbirds. And of course, that's one of the best programs here in the state.
You know some of the players he played with on that team for the Thunderbirds? He played with Troy Terry, Brandon Carlo, Dylan Gambrell, all on the same team for the under-16 Thunderbirds. How about that for a powerhouse?
They were pretty good. The Avs were not offside. Kozin kicks it up top. Shoot him in with a drive, and it never got through. Hit Dewar right in the gut, and he's got control. That slammed ahead. Spun back to the Avalanche end. Less than 10 to go in period number 2. Carroll threw it across the top of the crease. Now Goligoski will just shovel it behind the net. 40 minutes of hockey in the books here at Ball Arena.
Yeah, 3 penalties early killed all the Avs momentum, but that little skirmish at the end got the action going. Maybe we'll have a feisty third period here. I'd like to see it.
We'll see what happens between these two division rivals in preseason game number 1. After 2, we're tied at 1, and you're watching Colorado Avalanche hockey on Altitude Sports. After the break, stay tuned. You got the highlights and much, much more on the Toyota Intermission Report. Kyle Keefe, he's locked and loaded and ready to go, so stick around. Corporation. Nathan McKinnon and your Avalanche will take on Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks. It's Thursday, October 19th at 8:30 p.m. It's going to be a huge opening night here at Ball Arena. So get your tickets now at ColoradoAvalanche.com. And then we see some other key dates right throughout the course of the season.
Eric Johnson coming back to the Avs. That kind of sticks out at me. Trade deadline, that's a long ways away, but the home opener versus Chicago. Remember last year, of course, the Stanley Cup was there and they got walked around the ice, but now it's the Connor Bedard show. Might have one of the best releases in hockey, so he'll be a showtime stopper against the Avs for sure on home opener night.
There's no doubt about it. Of course, Taylor Hall there in Chicago as well, as we're underway with this third period. Sent off the stick of Duhane. Walensky, two-hand shot to try to get it up the boards. Goal scorer for the Avalanche, Noel Kiviranta. Wild answered back with Sammy Walker on the power play in period number 2, and that's been it. Arvid Holm is in between the pipes now for this Avalanche team, as Justus Onanen got the first about 13 minutes of period number 2 after the entire first period, so 33 total.
Moj, that was a physical shift. Ross Colt had a huge hit in the corner. Then Malinsky took a huge hit behind the net. I'd love to see a physical, upbeat third period here by both these teams.
Well, we haven't seen much. Through 2 periods, these teams have combined for 12 total hits. 6 each, and that's not a whole lot.
You telling me we got a no-hitter here, Moj? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, no,
we got a Nolan Ryan going. That long shot by Johansson missed the net, and the Minnesota Wild very high on this young defenseman. Taking 148th overall back in 2018. Slammed up top. He's got it. Drops it for Patan. Fed off. Turnaround shot by Lettieri's wide of the net. So the Wild spending all the time in the Av zone to begin the third here. Schumann tied up. Olofsson in the near corner trying to help out his defenseman. Finally, it's Corman. Wild, though, still in pursuit. Avs just want to get out, maybe get a line change and catch their breath a little bit. As Tufte took a hit, but it looked like a fly bouncing off a windshield as Johansson went and tried to get him.
Yeah, the Avs need to bring some energy right now. This would be a great time for young guys. The third period, bring it all out here. Get your team some energy. Be noticeable out here this evening.
There's a hit right there by Weinstein into the near corner. Brad Hunt marching away. Filtered it up the boards, but knocked down with Sandel. Back to Hunt it comes. Bolby's pass just out of the reach of Perrine. Fed back for Addison. Good steal there by Bolby. Wraparound try. Save by Wallstedt. He's going to hold on. And Jesper Wallstedt has played the entire contest so far for Minnesota.
Nice job by Bowlby. Kind of started that skirmish to end the second period. Now he's breaking out pucks. Comes for the old power wraparound. Just tries to stuff it. He got some good wood on that too. But he didn't have any puck luck on his side. But he read the play well. Picked that puck off for the turnover and tried to smash it home. But to no avail.
Avs now leading in shots on goal, 21 to 16. Outshot the Wild 10-9 in period number 2. Kozin able to spin it deep. Callahan Burke. Addison staying right with him. Burke to the far side. Turnaround shot deflected. It went off of Burmese. It hits the netting. And that faceoff will stay in the Minnesota zone. And there is Kozin. Looks like we may have a penalty coming up here on the near side as Addison was getting into it with Burke.
Well, Callahan Burke absolutely schooled Addison all the way behind the net, using that speed that he has to get the Avs an offensive opportunity. We'll see what happened here in the corner. Oh, Addison gave him a little cross-check. Perfect. See, Callahan Burke, that could change the game a little bit. Use your feet, use your speed. You frustrated Addison. He comes back, takes a bad penalty. Good job, Callie Burke.
So doing his job, giving the Avs an opportunity on the power play. Minnesota this afternoon is 1 for 4 on the power play. The Avs looking to break their drought right now.
Malinsky on the top. They like Thomas Tatar. Boy, I'll tell you what, you give Tatar a chance to shoot, he is going to not pass that up 100% of the time.
And Malinsky's
he's got a rocket.
He's been running his power play the entire afternoon.
Yes.
So they're giving the former Cornell star a real chance to show what he can do. Quarterbacking, but Goligoski able to send it all the way down.
2 minutes for cross-checking. Time of the penalty, 2:55.
Malinsky will begin the breakout. No slingshot quite yet. Now it's Tatar. Funnels it up for Carroll. Back it comes for Miles Wood. Malinsky in command. Back down the boards. Fed off. Carroll finds the defenseman. Malinsky to the far side one-timer. Nice save there by Wallstedt. Guarding that post, would not give it up. There's a long wrist shot, and that's knocked away. Malinsky trying to keep it in. Couldn't quite do it. That puck was bouncing on him, and Dewar was all over.
Good puck movement, good heads-up play. Couple of good scoring chances there. Avs just got to keep that up.
Wood with a sizzler off for Kiviranta. Back it comes Malinsky. Now it's Carroll with his shot. Blocked away by Fogarty. Broken stick, tough angle shot, and a couple of saves by Wallstedt again on that post. Avs tried to go off his back. Wild down to 3.5 skaters. One-timer, save by Wallstedt. Ooh, and he took a peek.
Oh,
but he able to hang on to it there with his left armpit.
Avs with a golden opportunity. Wild player broke his stick. Carroll had a great shift right there. That was the wrist shot that broke the stick, and now the Avs are in the driver's seat. Had a couple of great chances. But unfortunately, that slap shot was sucked right in by the Wild goaltender. No rebounds available.
Well, the Avs already have 4 shots on goal in this power play chance, which is the most they've had in any power play yet this afternoon. So they're trying to get that go-ahead. But they're down to the final 41 seconds. Second unit is on the ice. Olofsson played at Nebraska, Omaha. Trying to win that draw. He's down on his backside. And the Avs do have it. Rifle rink wide by Kiviranta. Now it's Kozin. Not get a whole lot on that pass to the point, and Minnesota able to sniff it out quite easily. Avs back in. Big collision there as Vinny Lettieri tried to line up Olofsson. He took the worst of it. Avs were offside, and a good tie-up by Goligoski at the blue line. Hanged away from Kiviranta. Schoenemann steers it deep. Olofsson, quick centering pass, knocked away, shot, save, rebound, kicked away. And Kozin, the veteran, came in and let it fly. Power play is over. 5 total shots on goal for the Avs. but nothing to show for it.
And Tufte once again with that slick little backhand pass to Kozin. A couple of great chances. And Olsen across the middle shows you his size. He bowled over the Wild player. But either way, the Avs just not finding the back of the net yet.
Olofsson now physically mature at 6'1" and about 185, 190. Suppose depending on the day. Here's the goal scorer for Minnesota. Walker with a good centering pass. Saved by Hull. Spread out, right pad there. Score! A terrific pass to the near side of the crease, and Walker with his second of the contest. This one an even strength goal has put the Wild up 2-1.
And Holmes' pad was there. He reached all the way across. First, what an amazing save there. Good lateral movement. Then it comes all the way across. You'll see there. There's a beautiful play. Nice lateral movement. Now watch the play across right there. And it looks like there's only a puck's width that can slide in. Watch the left foot. There's the first save. Here's the big push. And I thought he had the post covered. Oh, and it somehow just barely slid in the back of the net.
I'm not sure that Walker was trying to do that. I think he was trying to corral that puck, and it sort of ricocheted off his blade and just squeaked in. Maybe he was, but it didn't look like it. And that was Hunter Haight back into the contest with a great pass. The Avs had left Walker all alone by himself on the near side of the crease.
I think you're right, Moj. I think he kind of double cupped it and accidentally yipped it towards the net, and that might have caught Holm off guard, but it looked as though he had the pad in place for a save.
A little double cupper?
A little double cupper. Don't ever do that.
Swung back. Armas will find Walker again. So if you're Sammy Walker and you're trying to make an impression on the coaching staff, you're doing a pretty good job today with both goals for the Wild. It's Tatar. The far corner. Armas will give it up. Knocked away from Haight. Scooped by Wallstedt. He's going to hold on to bring us to a timeout. It's a 2-1 Minnesota lead with 13:48 to go in period number 3. The Avs out shooting the Wild 28-18, but
Streams program.
It was so cool to see when they walked in to get the gear, and just how much their faces lit up, and then it was just a completely other chaotic thing for them trying all the gear on and just enjoying that. So yeah. Get those on or off? On.
Cale Makar also surprised all the kids with a brand new Xbox for the rink, and every kid is getting a copy of NHL 24, which, as we know, Cale is on the cover of. Guys, the NHL Goals and Dreams has donated over $26 million to grassroots hockey programs around the world. Just awesome stuff.
it really is, and of course the game is growing all over the globe, not only in North America, but how many girls are playing hockey now, Riker? It's just fantastic. Good intercept there by Wood. Fires it for Tatar. Shoots, and a save by Walter. Rebound tipped wide as Colton was there, charging toward the top of the crease.
Yeah, good shot by Tatar. Colton was all over that rebound. It just didn't come out in the right area for him to tap it in the open net.
And good news for the Avs. Cale Makar expected to start skating this week. Have been dealing with some lingering things throughout the course of the offseason, but going to be ready to go pretty darn soon.
Yeah, for a guy like Cale, he doesn't even need an exhibition game to be ready.
One-timer and a save by Holm, got it right in the chest and into his catching glove.
Well, we'll take a look. I told you Thomas Tatar likes to shoot, didn't I, Moj? Well, let me tell you, 2-on-1, that's firing right at the net. And Ross Colton jumps in, tries to backhand it in, but he kind of got handcuffed. Rebound didn't come across. And a nice save. Wallstedt's looked really good tonight. Hasn't given the Avs too many options for fat, juicy rebounds.
I love how Colton just presents himself, goes hard to the front of the net. He knows Tatar's going to rip off the wrister. Saved by Holm, and that puck booted to the corner. And his little backhand second effort just a little bit wide. And he was talking about Cale Makar on the cover of NHL 24. Avs pick it up with Kozin. Long drive there, and it's gloved by Wallstedt. Let's take a look at it. And Riker, do you play?
I used to. I used to play a ton, and one of the great thrills in my life was when I actually made a video game. Like, didn't put myself in, but I was there because I was in the NHL. But to be on the cover, how Cale is there, I mean, he is almost, if not the new face of the National Hockey League. That's what they want, and He's just an all-around 10 out of 10 person. Got engaged this summer. When you talk about Cale Makar, he pretty much walks on water around here.
No doubt. Well, I'm no good at Chell. Not anymore anyway. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I never asked you how selfish of me.
No, it's just, I'm just like you, Reichs. Just get beat up by 12-year-olds all over the globe. Clermont walks in, shoots, and it's deflected over the top of the net. So it just hurts, as you know.
Boy, that was a sweet play. He walked in there real silky, tried to go far side top shelf and just overshot the mark.
Terry throws it to the near side of the Wild zone. Abs trying to make the steal. There might have been a hook right there on Olofsson, but the officials say no. Steered down deep, backhander, and that's off the skate of Goligoski. Back behind the net, Bolden trying to muscle his way free, able to get there. That shot deflected wide, so the Avs now starting to press the issue, looking for the tying goal. Down the slot, deflected. Bolden was chasing. Sandelin, head up, turns and shoots. Save, rebound, score! Henry Bolden parked himself right in front of Wallstedt. Johnny on the spot on the rebound with a backhand slam. And we've got a 2-2 hockey game, and you could feel that coming.
Yes, and Bolby's been noticeable this game as well. Kind of started the end of the second, and he's carried that into the third. He's had chances, he's been physical. Played for the Charlotte Checkers last year, had 13 goals, free agent signing by the Avalanche. And you can see he's just hungry in front. He's wearing that 91 in the same spot old Calgary used to be at, score a bunch of goals. And that's a big one for the Avs, gets the energy in the building back. Now we got a tie game.
And good for him too. Goligoski trying to get there. And Bolby making a quick pivot. The backhand flip to get us all tied at 2. And a ton of time left in this game. Avs win the draw. Ripped back in by Weinstein. Colton tried that backhand centering pass. Minnesota able to break it up. And it's flipped ahead.
Number 46, Ryan Sandelin.
Off it comes for Hunt. Off the boards and off of Wood and out. Sandelin the only assist on that goal. And credit Ryan Sandelin as well. His head was up the entire time. Looking for an opportunity, and he just threw it hard to the front of the cage. The Avs out shooting Minnesota 11-3 so far here in this third period.
Yeah, they brought it out in the third. It's been more physical, it's been upbeat, and you know, winning and losing an exhibition doesn't mean a lot, but still, when you're at home, you want to have that winning feeling, and it'd be nice to see the Avs pull this out.
And for the guys on the ice, who knows if they'll get another opportunity or when that may come. So certainly they want to be a part of a winning side on both teams.
Yeah, that's what you want to make the brass, as we call it, do. You're thinking, was he good enough? I need to see him in one more game. That's kind of what the rookies want to give, you know, force their hand saying, I played so good, give me another one just to show you I can do it again.
Holm able to get his blocker on that puck, and it's sent down the ice. And a foot race, and that's going to be an icing call. Kozin was catching up to Merrill, but just couldn't quite get there in time. And speaking of brass, as we look at Brandon Kozin, all the brass is here from both teams, including a guy that we used to see here in Avalanche sweater.
Yes, indeed. Cody McLeod, double nickels in the house, but yeah, tie goes to the defenseman on that play. But Kozin comes over, we mentioned, 33 years old, last 8 years in the KHL. He's in shape, he can skate, he's a pretty solid player. Real good hand so far I've seen her this afternoon.
He does again have 20 games in the NHL. Turnaround opportunity that's blocked away by the Avs. It's sent up and out. Weinstein was right there. And again, those 20 games for Kozin with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2014 and 2015, and back on North American soil, trying to impress anybody, including this Avalanche team, in a timeout coming your way. Less than 10 to go in the third period. Bolby makes it a 2-2 game.
The Little League World Series champions.
Chris Vaughn telling you
Quality.
Back to action here at Ball Arena. Johansson wanted to find Sweeney. Jack Johnson read it well. Kicks it for Tufte. Back it comes for the veteran Johnson. Couple of drag moves as he tried to pirouette his way free. Dewar was not going to buy it that time. Whacked away. Kiviranta to Merrill. Back to Kiviranta. Top of the circles with his shot. And there's a blocker saved by Wallstedt again. Malinsky delivers. Kiviranta finding Tufte. Just slugging off Connor Dewar. Tufte tried to wrap it around with a backhand. And good active stick there by Johansson. Far side. What a save by Wallstedt. Absolutely robs Olofsson on the one-timer. I mean, he had to stretch out with every inch of his 6'3" frame and get that kick save at the far post.
And what a pass by Riley Tufte once again. Here's the pass. The young man's having a...
Secure your seats straight from your text thread. Text AVS, AVS, to 48429 to sign up right now. That's AVS to 48429.
And the Avs favorite again, preseason odds to win the Stanley Cup. Same as our Denver Nuggets, I believe, Moj. That would be quite the combination. They can both pull it off.
Certainly would. And Riker, there's no doubt as that puck is deflected over the glass into the crowd. There's Sandelin again in the corner. That the Avs certainly wanted to defend their Stanley Cup championship, but the shortest offseason ever. All the injuries and what this team had to go through. Nathan McKinnon said it last week. He said, we just didn't have the team that was going to do it. But an offseason where you refresh the bodies and the minds, and they are incredibly pumped about the new acquisitions. They're ready to go.
And a healthy Josh Manson. He's such a huge part of this team. And really, besides Finland last year, didn't play a healthy hockey game. Makar missed over 20 games last year. So, yeah, things are looking real good right now.
Bouncing puck. See who wants to corral it. It's Bolby. I just slide it up ice for Pari. Back it comes. Sent ahead by Klurman. And that's going to be an icing call. He did not get the red line by the time he jammed it up ice. Avs now with 35 shots on goal. Minnesota sitting on 20.
Yeah, and the great part for young guys, you look at Cedric Pari right there, is they're going to get the ice time right now. So exhibition allows players to say if they played an NHL game and they get called up, they might only play 4 to 8 minutes. But tonight, they're all going to play 14 to 15 minutes. So it's a real good chance to show the coaches what you can do, and you're in the game the whole time.
Yeah, Jared Bednar has been rolling all 4 lines as well. As Bolby's in on the forecheck. Wild get it to the red line. Only able to steer it off. Reaching was Pari. I couldn't quite corral, and here comes Schuneman in. He lost that puck right to Miles Wood. Not sure that was intentional either. Either way, the Avs make the steal with Colton. Kicked up top. Malinsky a drive. Saved by Wallstedt. And he'll get some help, and that puck scoots underneath his catching glove. And that's what we want to see out of young Sam Malinsky. Get that puck on that driver from the blue line.
Yeah, and Miles Wood is down. He's already got one tooth down. As you can see in all of his pictures, he's smiling happily. I hope he's not down his second tooth, but I think he took a stick right up in the lips. We'll take a look at it here. Big shot from the point, as you mentioned, Mose Malinsky. Miles Wood right there. Boom.
Boom.
Oh, he took that like a pancake flipper right to the lips, right there. Oh, man. That's, like I said, one tooth is down. Here's a good look. It just comes right down. Looks like it might catch him on the nose and the bottom lip. But either way, in exhibition, you could do without that. But the Avs are definitely, well, I thought they'd be back on the power play here.
Nope, no penalty on Goligoski. Tomas Tatar also a little worse for wearing that play for the Avs. So just want to keep guys in check.
How did the linesman not catch that high stick? I mean, that was blatant right in front of all 4 officials.
Still at even strength. It's Addison. Finds the neutral zone. Olofsson couldn't hang on. Jack Johnson threw it ahead. Colton had vacated that area. This is Merrill, veteran, off the stick of Duhaime. That's going to be an icing call. Apparently Duhaime did not get a piece of that puck. And let's see what happened to Tomas Tatar.
Well, he was in front in that battle as well. So Tatar's right there. There comes the shot. I think he's trying to get out of the way as he's screening the Malinsky shot. And then there's Miles Wood in front. So he's getting out of the way because it's high and hard. Kind of hits him on the hand, I think, Moj. Wood takes it on the lips. Got him in the back, maybe.
And I think that got him in the ribs, right? Yeah, he's... Oh, boy.
I don't miss the injuries that guys had to play through back in the day. You forget how much pain these players can play through and have to as the season goes on.
Well, Malinsky got a lot on that one-timer and got Tatar sort of in the ribs, and then Wood got high stick, no call. Long shot there, save Wallstedt. Some traffic was in front now. Merrill starting to get into it a little bit. Gives a little punch in the face of Tanner Caro, and that might be from what happened to the young Hunter Haight earlier in the contest.
Well, I can tell you, Cody McLeod is in the house here. He is, I believe he's head of player development or close to it for the Minnesota Wild. So, you know, he'll be up in the stands yelling, come on, let's go, let's get in a fight. And John Merrill, the veteran defenseman, didn't like what Caro was throwing his way there and kind of got him in a headlock, but nobody's dropping the gloves yet.
Was there a better trash talker than Cody McLeod?
No, there wasn't. Even in practice, there wasn't a better trash talker. I played with Cody in the American Hockey League as he was coming up, and I know him as a good friend, but my goodness, when he came up into the NHL, he couldn't keep his gloves on.
Boy, carved out a great career for himself, though. He really did. Now, of course, with Minnesota, Tufte. Into the far circle, backhand centering pass. Swiping was Wallstedt, and that puck flutters right into his crease. So in a 2-2 game with 6:43 to go, we're starting to get a little bit of bad language and a little discussion going on, and there is Tufte talking to Merrill.
See, that's it. I think Tufte's saying you want to go. So Merrill just roughed up Caro the previous shift. And here's Tufte, who once again, noticeable almost every time he's on the ice. What a backhand play, what a deflection. Into the net there by Kiviranta. Good save.
Well, Merrill is no small guy at 6'3" and 220. And then here comes Tufte at 6'6" and about 220.
Well, and Coach Bednar loves that stuff. Nobody was tougher in the American Hockey League in the East Coast than Coach Bednar. Sticking up for your teammates, getting in a fight, yeah, you're going to get noticed.
Off far circle. Wild haven't had a shot on goal in quite some time. Marvin Holm has come in and settled some things down. Long shot by Kiviranta, hoping for just a deflection. Simon Johansson with the boards. Foreman intercepts, shoots. Deflected off the outside of the glove of Wallstedt, and out it comes. That one just right off the outside of the tip.
And that's twice now. Boulder native Nate Klerman coming off the far side, missing the top corner.
Another shot by Olofsson, save by Wallstedt. We'll be talking about Riley Tufte. Here's what he's done so far.
I mean, besides having one of the coolest last names I've heard of, Tufte, I mean, can't get much better than that. But he's been in all the hard areas. He's been in front of the net. He's been picking guys' pockets. He's been setting up plays. That was one of the shots that went a little wide. Look at his backhand pass. What a slick little play. But every single time, I think every shift but about 2 tonight, he's been an impactful player and noticeable.
Well, you want to know how this third period has gone, Reichs?
Sure.
The Avs with 20 shots on goal here in the third. Minnesota 20 for the game.
That's fantastic. That's what you want to see out of your team. Come on late. Don't sit back. You want to push the charge.
Off the inboards. Weinstein scoots it ahead. Callahan Burke was knocked down. In pursuit now, it's Kozak. Caro had that pass intercepted. Petrovsky, the 19-year-old, able to make the play. An Owen sound attack guy is Petrovsky. What a save by Holm. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Wild got free down deep. As Kompalainen was right there, and now the Avs are going to be knocked for a penalty. This is going to be a high stick as Kompalainen got one. Right in the chops. 5:25 to go. Ross Colton's going off, I believe. Our coverage begins at 7 p.m. on your home for the Avalanche and Avalanche Hockey, Altitude Sports. Well, the Avs find themselves shorthanded yet again. Here's the high stick, and it's Malinsky, 70, not 20.
Malinsky in front, but that I don't think was the penalty. It was prior to that coming in. He got his stick up just a little bit high. And I think that's just something Malinsky's got to pay attention to. It's his second penalty of the night. You got to keep that stick below the waist so you don't get accidental high sticks.
So a huge kill here for the Avs in terms of preseason hockey. 2-2 game, and Goligoski finds Haight.
Avalanche penalty number 70, Sept.24, 2 minutes for high sticking. Time of the penalty,
It comes to height.
14:35.
Goligoski taking his time. Hit by Colton. Oh my goodness, Ross Colton went out to get him. Duhaime back with it, centering pass, save by Holm. He'll hold on. Karen did not get what he wanted on that puck right between the circles, but Ross Colton, penalty killing, just goes out and blasts Duhaime.
Well, and that's why Logan O'Connor and him got into a couple of dust-ups over the last few seasons, because he's a competitive guy. And not often on a penalty kill do you see a player come out and lay a hit like that. But Ross Colton, he's got game, he's got fire, he's competitive as they come. And I think Avalanche fans are really going to enjoy watching him for the next 4 years.
Well, it's not often you expect the guy to come out and get you like that.
Well said, man.
I mean, Duhaime's probably just thinking he can cruise on the outside. Save, rebound, score! That long shot went off of Holm, and it's cleaned up by Minnesota. It's a power play goal to make it a 3-2 game as Jujhar Khaira finally able to put one to the back of the net.
And that went right off the buckle. I don't know if it broke Holm's helmet, but just a simple win to face off, shot on net. Look at that deflection in front. Holm's helmet pops off, but they never blow the whistle if there's an immediate scoring chance after. So that's a good goal. As long as it's right there in the crease, they allow the play to happen. If it goes in the corner, they'll blow the whistle right away. But yeah, blew the buckle off the helmet. It's off. And unfortunately, Arvid Holm gets a helmet off face picture as that puck goes into the back of the net.
And Khaira is long and strong and is able to reach out. That puck was trying to scoot away from him, and he was able to backhand it in. So it's a power play goal for the Wild. And now with just under 5 to go, the Avs again will try to come from behind. Avs had the 1-0 lead in this game. Minnesota went up 2-1. The Avs tied it. And another penalty coming up on the Avalanche. Another high-sticking call. And that one hurts.
Well, this one's just bad luck. Malinsky goes to lift his stick. And as he goes to lift the stick, he misses, and he's got so much energy, he just pops the Wild player right in the nose. Poor Malinsky. It's his third penalty of the night here. He's had a couple of turnovers.
Well, you see Jared Bednar's face right there.
A double minor for high sticking.
Oh, a double minor. Watch him. So he just goes to lift the stick. This happened to me, Moj, so many times. When you go to lift the stick, and I like to use the analogy, it's like you pick a milk jug off the counter, and you don't know it's empty. You pick it up and you lift it up way high. That's what happens. You go to lift that stick, you miss the stick, but you have enough energy, it goes right into the guy's face. And yeah, Malinsky's put the Avs between a rock and a hard place here. Do you like the milk jug analogy? Does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm not a milk guy, though. I know that sounds crazy. Right? I got good bones, I'm just not.
Yeah, I got to come up with a better analogy.
Get my calcium other ways. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah. Well, it's 4:46 to go, and the Avs are going to be shorthanded theoretically for the next 4 minutes on the double minor. So blood drawn on Vinny Lettieri by Sam Malinsky.
And Coach Bednar is going to be mad because they missed that identical high stick on Miles Wood about 5 minutes ago.
Foreman, good challenge. Run ahead by Callahan Burke. Racing into the play, Sandlin. That pass just a little bit behind him. Good pursuit on the back check by Hyde, but good recognition by Sandlin as well to hustle and bustle down the slot.
Yeah, good try. Avs really hoping they could drop penalty on that play and even it up here, but no such luck.
Cross eyes. Khaira forced to go and fish it out. Goligoski at the point. Khaira, go-ahead goal just a few moments ago, gives it up. Back to the near side. Dewar tried to send it to the top of the crease. It's deflected off his stick, and it goes into the crowd on the far side.
Well, we've had a couple of pucks go in hot into the fans that are missing the nets, but everybody comes out looking good as we take a look at a couple of replays. So Goligoski, a veteran player right there. Nice pass across, trying to hit the one-timer in front, but it goes boom.
It looked
Nice
like that may have gone off Holm's goal stick.
Holm put his stick out there for the deflection. That was a real smart play. Heads-up play by Holm.
Challenging with that paddle is Arvid Holm. Lettieri's kicked out of the draw. Apparently got some repairs in the blood that was drawn and is back on the ice, but he will not take this face-off. Hunter Haight is in. Avs have it. Slammed up the glass and all the way down. So we'll keep an eye on some things here. 3:50 to go in the contest. Just over 3 to go on the Wild power play. See what Jared Bednar wants to do with Arvid Holm.
Yeah, if the Avs could somehow try and draw a penalty here to even it up, they could pull the goaltender and get a 5-on-4 situation. That would be nice.
Weinstein tried to eat that puck in the corner, but the Wild dig it loose. Addison straight away gives it up. Walker with his shot. Kick save by Holm. That was Patan. Now it's Sammy Walker. Already with 2 tallies in the afternoon. Sauced up top. Into the slot. Walker challenged with a good poke check by Hunt. First half of the double minor is almost complete. Here's Patan. Walker with a shot off the back of the net. Regains. Only Weinstein is there. Sends it up and out, and the Avs can change up some penalty killers.
Well, you can tell Walker's feeling it because he just tried to go short side shell from the goal line. The rookie trying to get a hat trick in his first exhibition game.
Well, guys will shoot from anywhere nowadays because when it goes in, it kind of looks cool.
No, that's true. They have the freedom for the riskier shots, Mose. You're right. It's not frowned upon to go for that bad angle shot anymore.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, today's modern goaltenders, they take up so much of the net. Hard to see anything anyway, so you might as well be creative. $1:30 to go in the power play for Minnesota. The double minor penalty on Malinsky out in front. Knocked away as Dewar tried to find Kara. That's off the skate. And it's set ahead for Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson weaving in. Jack Johnson stick handling like McKinnon. Centering past nobody on.
Jack Johnson has got the double green light here in the exhibition season because he's been dangling all afternoon.
2 years ago, Jack Johnson in game 1 of the season, the Stanley Cup year, first goal of the year scored by him on a breakaway against Chicago. And I'm not sure he scored since, right? I'd have to look it up. Were you thinking
sure.
that? Yeah.
I think he ended up with 1 goal on that season. So, but when he's ready, Jack Johnson's got some hands.
Lettieri. Well, he better not hear me say that. If he has, he scored. I'm sure he scored with Chicago last year before coming back to the Avs. He's going to be mad at me. On ahead, Olofsson. Down the slot. Hot shoots and a kick save by Wallstack. Oh, he got that big right pad down and a breakaway. It's Sammy Walker in. 2-on-0. Shot score. Lettieri. Short side rips it home. And the Wild have put it away. It's a 4-2 game with it. Minute 3 to go here in the 3rd period.
And the Avs had to do that. Brad Hunt was all in. They're trying to tie the game. And it was a good play. So here, look, all 4 guys are down. They are looking for that goal, but nobody's back. Now, I can't believe Lettieri didn't go back to Walker for the hat trick. Can you believe that? Mo is selfish. Now, great shot, top shelf, where Mom hides the peanut butter cookies, but should have went back to Walker for the hattie.
Well, maybe he said, you got 2. Can I get 1?
Can I get 1? Well, good job by Walker. 2 goals and an assist tonight. And, you know, you can tell I don't take the wins and losses too big in exhibition. The big thing is, did your young top players have a good game tonight? There's been real impressive games by 3 or 4 different young players here this afternoon.
Here's Malinsky up the boards with it. I'm sure that he will have some discussions with the coaching staff once this game is all said and done.
Time of the goal, 18:57 of the 3rd period. Lettieri from Walker and Patan at 18.
Here's Malinsky, that long stretch pass. Banged ahead by Wood. Carr is on the ice. There goes home to the bench. The Avs have 30 seconds to work with. Puck curled by Carroll. Now it's Tufte. I just scooted up for Colton. So both Avalanche players that got banged up on that one drive by Malinsky. Tatar and Wood seem to be A-OK. They're out there, but just 14 seconds to go in this game.
No!
Tufte, wrister. Score! Oh! Lost it with the rare misfire. He tried to glove it. It gets right by him, and Riley Tufte makes it a 4-3 game with 9 seconds to go. But as you talked about, Riker, he's had a terrific game, and he's finally rewarded for putting that puck on net.
Yeah, we mentioned 19 goals in the American Hockey League last year. It gets deflected, I think, off John Merrill's stick coming in. We'll take a look at it right here. It might have changed a little direction. Either way, it was top shelf, and I think the best player on the ice tonight has been Riley Tufte. So feather in his cap That's the kind of game he needed in his effort to make the Avalanche right out of training camp this year.
Played his college hockey at Duluth. Now in an Avalanche sweater. Referees trying to get the Minnesota Wild on their bench, saying, hey, let's go drop this puck. The Avs net is still empty. 9 seconds to go. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Imagine you try to win it back, hit a winger wide, get the puck in, throw it to the net, and see if magic can happen.
It's down. Minnesota has it. Down to the final 5 seconds. Scores to the Avalanche end, and that is going to do it. So preseason game number 1 comes to an end as the Avs fall by a final score 4-3.
Well, as that exhibition goes, I was fairly entertained. We've seen some of the top players who wanted to play well, play good. Other guys did not, but you know, when you think of Malinsky, the best thing about it, yeah, he took a few penalties, wasn't his best game. They'll get him right back into it, get him right rolling, everything will be positive. So game 1 in the books, Moj, overall, I'm excited.
And we've got back into the rhythm just a little bit as well.
We never lost any.
More to come tomorrow night.
Smooth as silk.
Our final score is Minnesota 4, the Avalanche 3. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Preseason matchup with the last 2 Stanley Cup champions. The coverage begins at 7 p.m. So stick around. When we come back, it's the Intermountain Health Avalanche Locker Room Report. Kyle Keefe is standing by, and we'll join him as well. Avs fall 4-3.